Good morning, medics. I'm Charles McFall with One EMS here at the EMS Providers Conference at Jekyll Island. Now I'm here with Scott, right? Scott, you said you're just now getting into EMS. Tell me more about that.
Well, I've been at EMR for 28 years, fire department, 30, full-time 33, altogether 38. Getting ready to retire,
so you're just really getting into the EMS side. You've been in the public service fire side for a long time.
Years.
Gotcha. What is it because the department's pushing or bringing in EMS that you're getting into it now?
No, after 33 years of full-time in the fire service, I decided it's time to leave that and do something else.
Okay, so for you, what is that? What is something else? What are you?
The EMS side of it.
Okay.
I've done it, let's say, participated in it my whole career.
But now it's going to be your focus.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Have you started that already? Or are you about to do that?
No, I'm planning on retiring out of the fire service this year and then starting January going into EMS.
Well, I hope you told them because they're going to find out now. Wait, he's retiring. What do you love about fire and public safety? What has kept you doing it for so long?
Helping people, trying to save lives, save property, getting out in the community, teaching fire safety to kids, and you'll be surprised how many kids have learned, like especially with kitchen fires, how simple it is just to put a lid on a pot to put a fire out, other than trying to take the pot outside and then catch it on fire and get burning.
Yeah. So I love it. The public awareness, the bringing the. Right. I grew up in the 80s. Hot fires and kitchen fires were a huge thing, and now even my kids, they're getting taught everywhere they go, even from preschool at a church or something. Fire safety is always being brought in. You go to the festivals, the Halloween, well, it's almost Halloween now, you know, all the fall festivals, fire safety is almost always there. And I love seeing that now. Fortunately, none of my kids have ever just put their hand on the stove. I remember doing that as a kid. Like, oh, I can't be hot anymore. Yeah. So that has been a great change in our society. As far as conferences, how often, or throughout the years, I mean, in your career, how often do you go to EMS or even fire conferences?
Well, my wife was a paramedic, so I've been to these conferences for many years and would sit in on some of it. But, you know, now I'm more, like I say, to doing it, but I've come to several conferences, especially when they were in Savannah.
What is it that you? So, because I mean, I love talking to you. You're coming from a whole different walk than most of the people who come to the conference. What is it that, even as just tagging along with your wife, that you've gotten out of it? What's some of the good things in the conferences?
The learning things that you didn't know that. You learn from your higher-up people that have worked in the field longer than you. And like one class we just went to was on the little buttons, battery buttons. And that was very interesting. I learned a lot about that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that a little tiny battery is a life-threatening injury, but we just learn differently, didn't we? And
then they're in that everything nowadays, easy accessible, and you know, just something as simple as prevention at home could save a kid's life. Gotcha.
What is something that, specifically for this conference with GEMSA, what is something that you feel like they could add more to?
Well, like I said, this is my first year coming here as
but everybody has an experience and they're looking for something.
I've got a good bit of training out of this one, so I really, without me coming and I hadn't had enough experience really to answer that. So.
That's fair. Very firefighter of you. Talk to the chief. You'll have to answer it now. But no, it's fair. It's you're new and you just want to experience and get it. I fully understand. What is something that you would say to the next generation coming into fire to get them to believe in a 30-year career or EMS or anything like that? That dedication.
That's it. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to want to help people. And you know, everybody's got a talent. The Lord gives everybody a talent, and you may try, and it may not be for you. But if your talent is that, and your heart's in it, you'll know it your first year. My second year into it, I almost left because I had some children burn up in the house that I went and got out.
Yeah.
I had to have counseling. I'm not scared to admit that. And that's one thing they taught you in counseling. And from then on, children would still bother me, but I've learned that, my purpose was to do the best I could, and that's what I did.
Good. Those are some of the best words and advice possibly given. Is seeking help and talking about it is very important. I saw there was a panel titled "Suck It Up, Buttercup" is no longer the appropriate response for PTSD. Well, it's never the appropriate, but it is what we came up through.
Right.
Is we didn't have somebody to talk to. And it was, if you did start to crack, you did start to break, then everybody would tell you to suck it up or give you some kind of hazing that made you feel negative feelings towards it. Versus, I am happy in the world that we're in that as soon as we start seeing some issues, we have those resources to help. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had a 38-year career.
Right. Well, this happened in '92.
Yeah. So, you could have, had you not gotten the resources you needed then, be a whole different world today.
It took me about 2 days of dealing with it when I realized I've got to do more than just talk to my family or talk to coworkers. I needed somebody else. And actually, the chief at the time got somebody from Forsyth, the training center, come down and got me one-on-one counseling for a couple of hours. Then they had the whole group come in, and I was good since then.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Scott. Thank you for sitting down with me. Which one of these lovely, I think I know which one you're going to pick, but which one of these lovely mugs would you like? Gotcha. I'll get you a clean one out of the box, and thank you for sitting down with us.
Thank you.